Hey, Math 1, what's up? This is Sensei. Um, got a lesson for you. This is going to be graphing linear inequalities, but we're also going to talk about graphing lines, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. But before we get started, we're going to go ahead and start warming up a bit here. That's right. Okay, as we're warming up, I want you to think about your materials that you're going to need, right? What are you going to need? Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, do some math. Let's do it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. We're doing some math. That's right. First weapon you need a straight edge. Look at that. Look how straight that edge is. You want to be straight. That's right. Straight edge. Straight edge. That's right. Okay, what else do you need? What else do you need? You need a pencil. I'm going to use a pen so you can see. I got a red. I got a green. That's what I'm using. Right? You can use it. Look at that. Look at these math rolls. Look at that. Look at that. That's right. Look at this. Whoa. That's right. Okay. What else do you need? What else do you need? Okay, so we're graphing. We need graph paper. Get your graph paper out. That's right. We're getting the graph paper out. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah. Look at that. Right in the face. Right in the face. Right in the face. Whoa. That's right. Right elbow. Ah, look at that. Ooh. Ooh. Fingertip punch. Wah. That's right. Ah, fingertip punch. Ooh. 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 That's right. That's right. Okay. We're going to start this lesson with graphing linear inequalities. Now, I know you guys, we're doing this online teaching, so you're welcome to follow my online stuff. I mean, I'm doing it for you so you can watch it, but if you don't like the way I'm teaching, you can look this up online, how to graph linear inequalities. But before we do that, I'm going to show you how to graph actually, let's go over graphing just a regular line, okay? So, here we go. Let's go ahead and graph. This is number 9-40 in your book. Now you need graph paper for this, okay? Please use graph paper. I want you to be able to graph this line first. Let's see. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. Okay? Now, before we graph it, let's go ahead and draw our coordinate plane. Bloop. Right? Use your straight edge. Make a nice straight coordinate plane. Have that there. Let's call this the x-axis. Put our arrows. There's the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's label. 1, 2, 3, 4. Positive 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't need to label every one. Just make sure you get that. Okay. Yeah, I just labeled the fourth one. Okay. So here we go. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. Okay, so here we go. The plus 3 is my y-intercept. Go ahead and try to pause this. I want you to try to graph it on your own. Okay. Now, the plus 3 is my y-axis. That means here, I need to find out where my positive 3 is, which is 1, 2, 3. There's my first point. And then the negative 2, remember that's my slope, right? This here is the y-intercept. That's review. And this here is the slope. So we can write the y-intercept is equal to 0, 3. You can write it like that if you want. And the slope, or the m, is the negative 2 over positive 1, right? That's a negative 2. That means I rise and then I run. So negative 2, am I going to rise or am I going to go up or go down? You're going to go down, 1, 2, and then I run 1. So I go from this point, I go down 2, and then I go over 1. From my y-intercept, right? And, you know, I like to draw a couple lines. You only need 2 lines or a couple points. You only need 2 points to make a line. But I like to get a bunch in there. And we go like this. We connect them. And then there we go. There is our line. This is the y equals negative 2x plus 3. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. Now the book asks you an interesting question. Okay, so this is review. We haven't started graphing inequalities yet, but this is review. The book asks, is, of this line, is the point -1, 5, is that part of my solution for this line? Is -1, 5 part of my solution? Two ways we can tell this. Let's figure out where -1, 5 is. Well, let's go like this. -1, 5 would be backwards 1 and then up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. It goes right on the line. So yes, that would be part of the solution. But there's another way we can tell. We can also take this y equals -2x plus 3, and I can plug in my -1 for my x and my 5 for my y and see if it comes out. Okay, so it's -1 part of my, so let's go ahead and plug this in. Instead of y equals -2x plus 3, I'll plug in -1. I'm sorry. This is, instead of y, which one's my y? It's the 5. Plug 5 in for my y and -1 for my x, and they should come out. -2 times 1 is 2 plus 3. What's 2 plus 3? 5. And yes, it is part of my solution. Okay? So now this is going to help us with the inequalities, right? Because 5 equals 5. So let's go ahead with that, right? You can tell, is this, basically what it's saying is this point on the line, right? Is it part of our solution? Is it on the line? Yes, it's on the line. But let's graph an inequality here, okay? So let's go like this. Here we go. Now I'm kind of gonna do the same thing. Instead of y equals -2x plus 3, I'm gonna say y is greater than or equal to -2x plus 3. Now let's look at this before we graph it. What is this saying? This is saying my y should be bigger than whatever my x ends up being. As long as my y is bigger than this, right, then I'm good with my solution. But how would you graph that? Well, the way you would graph this, if you notice that these are the same, you're going to graph it the same exact way. What do you mean by that, Sensei? Well, let's go ahead and do our little coordinate plane. Draw it with me. Go here. X-axis, Y-axis, do my arrows, okay, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you go ahead and graph it. Go ahead and pause it and see if you can graph it too. Even though it's the same one, you can still go ahead and, just practice graphing. It's so important that you know how to graph. It's so important. Okay, now that you've paused it, let's see. In order to graph this, first let's ignore this and pretend it's an equal sign. Okay, don't worry about the inequality. And you say to yourself, hey, I got my 3 as my y-intercept of 1, 2, 3. And my -2 is my slope. I'm going to write it here. My slope is -2 over 1. That means I'm going to go down 2, right? I go down 2 from the y-intercept, and I go over 1. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. Down 2. How many points do you need to make a line? Only 2. I just like to put a whole bunch. Right? I just like accuracy. That's why I do the just to make sure, sometimes I get my straight edge all messed up and stuff like that. Now, here's the question, okay? If we graph it like that, notice that this has a line underneath. That means this is going to be one solid line here, which is what I got. Now think about this. Y is what? Greater than, okay? Now, when you think of y, do you think up and down? Do you think up and down? or do you think left and right? I have this y here. Does y generally make us think about up and down or left and right? Yes, y is up and down, or y-axis, y is up and down. So let's get rid of that left and right. Now I say to myself, hey, y is up and down. And it's also saying y is greater than. Now if you think y is bigger, and you're thinking in terms of up and down, are you going to shade up or are you going to shade down? If it's bigger, what do you think? Yes. Y is greater than, you're going to go up. That means I shade up above the line. I'm going to shade above this line here. So look here. Which would be above? Above would be here, or would be above going this way? Which one's going up? This right here. And that would be my solution. Now, technically, we can test our solution to see if we are correct. And you can pick a point in this shaded area. Pick any point in that shaded area. I will pick this point right there, just because. Okay, now let me, if you can see this, this point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. I got 5, 2. Now, if this point is true, then all of these points are true. What do you mean by true, Sensei? That's such a weird statement. Well, let's look at our equation. Y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 3. Okay? So let's substitute x, y. Instead of y greater than or equal to negative 2 plus 3, let's plug in our x. Let's plug in our y. Our y is 2. Let's plug in our x in here, 5. See what happens. Okay, 2. Is that greater than or equal to? What's negative 2 times 5? Negative 10 plus 3. 2. What's negative 10 plus 3? Negative 7. Is 2 bigger than negative 7? Yes. True. Since this point is true, that means everything is true, every single point, so we can shade all of that. So all of these points will work. Now let's try this side, for instance, okay? Let's pick a point over here. Now this should not be true because it's not in our shaded region, and we should not shade it, but let's test to see if it's not true. I have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. What's that point? Negative 3, 2. Right? Negative 3, 2. Let's plug it into our equation. I'm going to just rewrite it here. Y is greater than or equal to negative 2 times x plus 5. So I'm going to plug this in for my x and this for my y. See if it, and it should not be true. There's my y. What do I put for my x? Negative 3 is 2 greater than or equal to, what's negative 2 times 3? Negative 2 times negative 3 is 6 plus 5. Is 2 greater than or equal to 11? Right? No, that's false. That means it is not part of my solution, so I do not shade over here. Okay, after all that stuff, all you really need to know to shade is you say to yourself, I think the easiest way is to say, hey, is y bigger than negative, if y is bigger than, right, that means y goes up and down. Y is bigger than means I shade up. If y is less than, I shade down. Let's go ahead and try, let's try another one with all that, okay? But before we do the next one, let's take a little warm-up break, right? Come on, get up, right? This quarantine isn't gonna stop us from getting fit, right? Stay fit, right? He's gonna teach you how to, like, you gotta protect your face. Then in, bam, like that, yeah, like that, bam, bam, yeah, like that. What? That's right. What, you think I don't got the legs? Look at that. Oh! That's right. Elbow. Ah! Come on. Let's see. I want to graph those inequalities. Let's graph them. Let's graph them. Let's graph them. What's the most deadly part? Fingertips. Woo! That's right. That's right. Pinky. Woo! Right. Look at that. Look at that other pinky. Woo! That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, that was a good break. Whew. Had to get that energy out, right? Sitting around, waking ourselves up. You guys awake now? Okay. So we're just going to go and straight up graph this thing, okay, based on what I said. And I'm not really going to test. You can test. Well, maybe I'll test. You can pause and go through if you want, because I know this is long videos for you guys. But anyway, I just want to show you how to do it. So let's draw our coordinate plane. Okay, let's get remember, x-axis, draw it nice and neat, nice and tight. Y-axis goes up, got our arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. -4. And 1, 2, 3, -4. Okay, so real quick, let's figure out what's I don't know, let's just, why the heck, what's the y? Go ahead and graph this on your own first, okay? Pause it, graph it, do it. What is the y-intercept? Okay, well here I could see the y-intercept is -1. Whoops. I'm in trouble with technical difficulties here. -1, not x-intercept. I want to know what my slope is. X-intercept another time. Okay, what's my slope? Slope is -1/3, right? All right, so y-intercept, -1. That means I go on my y-axis, I go at -1, that means I go down 1. Slope is -1/3. Remember, slope going down is going to be going this way. I go from the y-intercept, I go down 1 and over 3. 1, 2, 3. Down 1 and over 3. 1, 2, 3. Down 1 over 3. 1, 2, 3. You don't need all these points. Let's go. I'm going to go it the other way, though. 1, 1, 2, 3. You don't need all these points to graph the line. Okay. Now, here's my line. Should form a line. Now, something interesting here I want you to notice, though. Notice it's y is less than. There's no equal to sign. There's no line underneath. If you look at our previous problem that we had here, see it had the line underneath. See that? That's equal to. We did a straight up line, but it's not equal to. It's just less than. So how would we graph that? I bet some of you already know, but the way we graph it is we just do dashed lines. Dashed lines. Dashed lines, just like that. Okay? Put my arrows. Because it's not equal to, I just do a dashed line. Dotted line, I don't know what you want to call that. And then real quick, y is less than. Remember, y is up and down. Which way am I going to shade? If you say y is less than, do you think you're going to shade above the line? Above the line? Or below the line? Yes, you shade below. And that's all you got to do. We just graphed that line. Okay? Now, you can pause it. You can fast forward to this, but I'm going to test it because I want to. See this point here, 0, 0? It's not my shaded region, so when I plug it into my equation, it should not be true. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. I'll do it quickly. Y is less than -1/3 times x minus 1. I plug in this point here, 0, 0. 0 for my x, 0 for my y. Why did I pick 0, 0? Because 0, 0 is easiest. So 0 is my y, 0 is my x. 0 less than, what's -1/3 times 0? 0. 0 minus 1 is -1. Is 0 less than -1? No, 0 is actually bigger than -1. That is false, which is this point here, which means we should not shade, which means we should shade on the other side. But I like just saying, hey, this is less than, so I'm going to shade below. Okay, so anyway, that's how you graph that. Okay, one more problem here. This is going to be a butt kicker, okay? Why? Because this is not in slope-intercept form. Okay, so when we graph this, it's not in slope-intercept form, so what do? Because all this is kind of harder to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put it in slope-intercept form, okay? And all you have to do to get slope-intercept form, just right here, you want to get the y by itself. So you have the number next to x is my slope, and the number by itself is the y-intercept, okay? So all we do, just get the y by itself. Come on, homies. That's all you got to do. 2x minus y is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so let's get the y by itself. I'm just going to draw my line. Okay, I have a 2x and a negative that I need to get rid of. What do I get rid of first? Furthest away is the 2x, so I take away 2x. Right? I want to get the y by itself. I take away 2x. It's plus 2x. I take away 2x. So I subtract 2x over here. I'm running out of room. I don't want to get out of my graph. I'm going to rewrite it down here. So guess what? This goes away. I'm going to rewrite it down here. Sorry, I got that big gap. I didn't want to get out of my grass way. Negative y less than or equal to, what's 5 minus 2x? Well, they are not like terms, so I cannot combine them. So I'll just put the negative 2x stays over here. And what else is over here with the 2x? Positive 5. Now watch, something crazy is going to happen. The y is still not by itself. It still has a negative, which I can say is multiplying by negative 1. So I'm going to divide all of this by negative 1. And then I'll divide the whole side over here by negative 1. That changes this to a positive. And because I'm dividing both sides by a negative, what happens to my inequality? It flips. And then this is going to change the signs of both of these. Negative 2x divided by negative 1 is positive 2x. And 5 divided by negative 1 is negative 5. Okay, so now let's graph that. That's much easier to graph, and then we can shade and we'll be done. Okay, so basically this equals that. Now I have my y-intercept. Y-intercept is negative 5. My slope, can you see with my hand there, is what? What's my slope? 2, or 2 over 1. Okay, so y-intercept negative 5. That means on the y-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I go down negative 5. My slope is 2 over 1. That means I'm going to go up because it's positive. I go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Okay. You know, I only need 2 points to make a line, but I did 5 there. That's fine. Oops, what did I forget here? It's equal to, so is my line going to be solid or dashed? You're right. It is solid, like that. Because I flipped the sign, remember the y goes up and down. If y is bigger, does that mean I'm going to shade above the line or below the line? Shade this way. That looks like it's below. It's going down. Shade this way. It's up. I shade up. Woohoo! And there is your solution. That's it. 23 minutes. Woo! So that's it. That's graphing inequalities. So be ready. Your test is coming up. Okay? During the coronavirus, I don't know if you're watching this during not the coronavirus, but the coronavirus people, you guys are going to be having a test on this next week. Yeah. So just make sure you know how to do that. Anyway, that's all I have to share with right here. So we'll just go ahead and end it, right? Because we just did it. We just did graphing inequalities, right? I'm not afraid of those inequalities. Are you afraid of those inequalities? I'm not afraid of those inequalities. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. That's what we just did. Take that. Take it. That's right. I'll take it. Look at this thing. Oh yeah? I got you. I got you. I got it. And this one here too. We just got this one. Look at that. Look at that. It's even upside down. I'll do it upside down. I'll do it right side up. I'll do it sideways. I'll shade above the line. Shade below the line. Right? Is it a dashed line? Is it a solid line? You know what it is. I know what it is. All right, let's do this thing. We just spent 20 minutes, no problem. I know 20 minutes seems like a long time, but this is school, people. We're going to school. I just took you to school. You tell that inequality. I took you to school, inequality. Went to school. All right, this is Sensei signing off. Hasta la vista, baby.